If you clicked on this video, you are probably as fed up with your weekly layouts in any planner that you've been using as I have been. Hi there, my name's Alicia and welcome to Chick with a Plan. Today we are going to be talking about the Alastair planning method. So a little bit about this. I was really frustrated with my weekly layouts. It was something similar to this, something involving boxes. And what I've basically learned is boxes are constraining and I don't like being in them. um, but no, for real. So my weekly layout was not working for me. So I decided that I'm going to fall down my Pinterest rabbit hole as I do looking for something a little better, something that would actually be efficient and work the way I needed it to. So long story short, I found this method, the Alastair method, and I am going to show it to you here in a moment. So I am going to show you a couple of examples of basically what the Alastair method is. Now, the short description of this method is that it is a list style of planning or tracking dates or time or whatever. So even your habit tracker can be considered similar to the Alastair method. And I will get into all this example stuff in a minute. First, I'm going to show you the printouts that I designed for myself, and also I will include it as a free download on my website for you guys, just to make your life a little easier. And so if you choose to um, do this method, you don't have to sit there and draw this layout over and over in your own bullet journals or planners. Um, so this, of course, is the weekly one. And what I really wanted to do here was make it possible to have tracking for time. Because if you're working really heavy on goals and trying to make the most of your time, you really need to see where it's going. And you also need to be able to block it off so you can get important things done. And that's one of my pet peeves with like a regular planner. Sorry, happy planner. I love you. I really do. But it's very basic and it doesn't give you the functionality that you need in your life sometimes. And of course, over here is where the week is summed up, and you would write your task and circle the days that you need to complete it. Moving on, we have this is actually the yearly one. We'll come back to that. All right, we have the monthly. So for this monthly one, I put 5 weeks at the top because, sometimes months don't end in a perfect 4 week cycle. In fact, they usually don't. And you're able to put the big goals or maybe the big milestones or your events, birthdays, whatever. And you're also able to have this to plot out your calendar for that month. So you still have that visual, because I don't know about you, but I still like to be able to look at a calendar. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I like to be able to see the weeks and the dates and everything plotted out in that typical calendar style. Something reassuring about that. Maybe I'm just weird. All right, and then my last printable right here is my yearly one. And of course, you can put whatever month you're starting off with and just go down there as 12 little blocks. And then you're going to put like what is the big thing you're working on for that month. And you can put the task or the big milestones, the big goals that are like the overarching themes here. Or you could put something as simple as in April, I need to get my taxes done. It doesn't have to be super crazy. But that is those printables. And now I will get into more of an example of how I think the Alastair method would best work. I am just going to show you the example I made. Okay, don't ask what this is. I got into doodling and then I got lost in doodling, and it is what it is. We're just gonna work with this. And I had already started doing examples here. Like, for instance, if you have something that needs to be done multiple days out of the week, you only have to write it once, as opposed to when you do the box method, or I'm just going to call any weekly layout that has boxes for the days the box method. Um, you have to write that one thing in 3 times throughout the weekly layout. And for me, that just, I feel like that's a waste of your time, and it's also a lack of efficiency. And another thing I like about this method is if you want to reschedule something, let's say I didn't feel like exercising on Monday, and then I can just mark it out and I just move it over to Tuesday. Or I could just mark it out completely and not do it, which sometimes happens with me. Um, anyways, moving on. So the next thing is you can also do your routine task like reviewing the day or planning tomorrow. If it's something that you just, maybe you just want to have this part of your layout to be a habit tracker. Or you could even use space over to the side if you're drawing your own, and like leaving yourself some space where you can create a separate habit tracker if you want to. Other than that, you can just pour all your tasks, all your events in here. Another thing I think is great about this layout is I don't feel restricted by a box. Let's say you have a really busy day, and okay, let's say Friday is your busy day, and you got all this morning stuff you got to do, and then you got all this afternoon stuff you got to do. And if you write big, A, it's going to look messy, and B, chances are you're going to end up spilling over the lines like I sometimes do, or running down into the afternoon and you're like writing up here trying to keep it from like going down. And anyway, the point is it gets really messy, and it feels constraining to only have these spaces for a whole day to write down what you want to be able to do. And granted, you could write that stuff on your daily if you have a daily, but if you're trying to see your whole week as a whole and you're trying to see how busy your days are, it's going to be a lot harder to see if everything's just piled on a daily somewhere. And then you're like surprised when you flip the page and it's like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do and I did not think about that. Forethought. And that kind of leads me to my last point on why I think this method can be really useful and probably better than an average planner layout, is because it's more efficient use of space. You're not having to restrain yourself. Like, I have literally had the dilemma where I had anxiety about using my planner because I was afraid I wasn't going to have room to put the stuff. And then I didn't use the layout. It was the weirdest. Again, maybe I'm just weird, but that was me. I'm sure I'm not the only one that struggled with that, though. I hope not, or I'm weirder than I thought it was. Anyways, guys, so that is basically my rundown of the Alastair method, and I will also link the blog that I found the information about this method on in the description below so that y'all can take a look at it and, you know, maybe get some inspiration, and also search Pinterest. It's a great resource for this. You can find a couple of different layouts. I mean, it's a very simple layout, so there's not like a lot of crazy stuff as far as it goes, but I'm sure with any stretch of imagination, you can make it as crazy as you want. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Please give this video a like or subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye bye.